Hello, everyone. So, welcome to the Wellbeing Pod, and today is our sixth episode. We have a guest on with us today, and Priyanka Bundhoo. So, the title for today, the topic for today, is going to be about healing, a healing approach to burnout. And welcome, Priyanka.
Thank you.
And how are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Nice. And so, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you became to be interested in the field that you've chosen.
All right. First of all, thank you so much, Denisha, for inviting me over here. I'm very happy to be here with you, and welcome to our dear listeners who are with us right now. So, if I were to say in a few words, why I got my interest was when I was a kid, I was very much interested into the metaphysical world. So let's say by the age of 13 or so, I had got my first tarot deck. I was very much interested into spirituality, into affirmations, into all of the colors and the creativity. And then I kept it like a hobby that a child has. And then I pursued my studies, but it was more about law. But even if I was studying law as a student, I had in parallel, I was discovering a lot of courses, workshop on healing, meditation, yoga, in order to have a holistic point of view. And personally, this kept me very happy with it. And then I shifted when I graduated. I was in the corporate sector working as a lawyer, and then at some point in time, I very much felt that I felt that it was time for me to shift. And then I decided to resign, and then I went to India. And you can see that my journey to India was that eye awakening or eye opening moment that I got to discover different forms and practices of yoga, approaches to meditation, vibrational healing. And that is why I've mastered various forms of healing. And today I'm a Reiki master into crystal healing, sound healing, in yoga as well, hatha vinyasa. And at the time that I'm speaking to you right now, for the last 5 to 6 months, I was actually doing my yoga training, right? So this was like another dimension, shifting to something else. And my interest, like in answer to your question about mental health, I was always interested about this mind-body connection. There is something about the mind, there is something about this inner voice, that inner knowing that we have, our intuition, and it does have some kind of effect about with respect to our physical body, emotional, mental body, and our spiritual body. So, because I loved meditation, I love the power of change, of transformation that we can bring through the power of the voice. That is why, from meditation, I discovered spiritual coaching. I've also discovered hypnotherapy. And because I love the healing approach that is found in the trauma world, I've also discovered trauma support, um, building the relationship, building the bridge between a trauma and healing. And you will see that every of my workshop, of my lectures, all of these, they are trauma informed. And then I got the chance to make various trips to India. I also went to Thailand to see more about the culture. So at the end of the day, I love to bring a kind of bridge between the Western mind and the Eastern philosophies. And I think that the fact that Mauritius is just in the middle of the world, it helps us very much to be that bridge, to be in the middle of the Western and the Eastern culture. So I also got the chance as well to participate, to provide my services at various resorts. I've been actively working in the hospitality sector and the tourism sector before the COVID hit. And then when the COVID came, I got the chance to re-go, re-transform, re-see based on my experiences, how we can bring awareness forward. So that is why I am currently working on my own as well. And I'm also providing for workshop lectures at the university level. And at the end of the day, my aim is to help people realize that they are their own healers. They have everything that they have within their hands, but it takes them just some time to realize that they have everything within them and they can move forward towards their dream. So, in short, this is it. I mean, we have like this holistic approach. I'm very passionate about that. I'm never tired of reading, researching, applying it on myself and see how we can go forward with progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. And like you say, sometimes, we are the first subject, to kind of try new tips and all that on ourselves. But first of all, impressive journey that you have gone through, and coming to that realization that we kind of have a power and we can harness that, to do better and keep improving on ourselves. And you've also mentioned the workshops, which we will talk about, a bit later during this episode, and kind of what is it that students and staff can look forward to at the end of May, technically. Yeah.
Yes.
So, so today our topic is burnout and how to heal through it. And we've heard a lot about burnout. Some people have an idea what it is, but there's another term called brownout, and we might not be as familiar with it. So would you be able to explain to us, what they both mean and how we would differentiate between the both of them?
Okay. So first and foremost, I would just like to tell our listeners that if they have a feeling that they might be experiencing a burnout or they're heading that way, please rest assured that we all have had some struggling moments or battle with burnout. So that is why my intention by the end of this episode is that our listeners are equipped with the necessary information and the tools as well to be motivated to approach burnout more mindfully. Now, burnout and brownout, they are terms which are very related to one another. In fact, brownout is the stage before the burnout. Now, before explaining what brownout means, let's have a closer look at burnout. So, in a few words, burnout can be seen as that physical and that mental collapse, which is resulting from us working harder and harder and harder to reach a goal while not attending to our needs. So, in other words, it's like we are putting our own needs at the bottom of the ladder. So, as a result of overdoing an activity or overdoing an action, either on the emotional level or on the mental level, for too long, we may experience symptoms such as, let's say, physical, mental exhaustion, and fatigue after minimal effort. Another things we might discover very often is we're getting a lot of muscle aches, a lot of pains, especially over here at the neck region, at the lower back region, the knees. These places, at times we see we get a lot of them. At times, some people they say they've been getting a lot of dizziness, or they are not able to recover after rest, even after relaxation, even after some entertainment. Because I've got to see a lot of people at times they say, okay, I'm going to rest. And when they just get up from their seat, they're like, I feel more tired than before. Okay, so these are a few of them, just to name a few. Now, what this description wants to make us realize is that burnout is something that doesn't happen to us overnight. Okay, and it is the result of a long and often slow process. But something you need to realize is that we all have our journey. So the way that we get to realize that is going to be different for every one of us. Okay. Now we have had a holistic understanding of what burnout is. It will be much easier for us to understand what brownout is. So as we've mentioned before, a brownout is that stage before the burnout. So, Devisha, I felt very important for us to discuss about this because in the recent years, brownout, which is a less known form of work-related stress, has been recognized by coaches and business psychologists alike. Now, how to recognize a burnout? So let's say if we have felt overstressed and pressurized for some time, and it is beginning to take a toll on us either physically and emotionally or even mentally, or if we have noticed or we have been noticing changes in our behavior, our feelings, and our health. Or another way is if we are near to being physically or emotionally exhausted to the point of collapse. So you see, it's not like the burnout, like, okay, stop. This one is like, it's coming, but you don't see it much coming. Like, no, it's okay, I got it. But the thing is that inside, it's progressively coming, like a wave or it's like there's a cyclone which is coming, but you don't realize it. You're like, no, it's just a few strong breaths. Okay. But you'll see here the difference is unlike burnout, which is a sudden state of temporary exhaustion, burnout can have a long-term lasting effect on a person's professional and personal life. Now, what's interesting to point out is that even though burnout is not considered as a serious case as compared to a burnout, it is much more prevalent in the workplace. And I think it's very important for our listeners to be conscious of that, whether you're a student, our listeners are students, or they could be working people. It's very important for you to realize that burnout can happen at any stage of your life. But right now we are seeing this more being, let's say, recorded or stated at the workplace. Okay, but this can also happen to you in your personal life as well. So I just wanted to quote over here that there was a recent survey that was conducted by the US coaching from the corporate balance concept. It says that an estimated 5% of 1,000 executives suffer from burnout, while 40% suffer from burnout. Okay, so you see that a lot of people have of the burnout, but we just say it's okay. But then when it's like a burnout, okay, stop. Okay, but both of them, they are as important. They need consideration equally as one another. So the better we are aware of what it takes to be burned out, the better prepared we are to recognize when it is starting to manifest.
Thank you for that clear explanation.
No problem.
And definitely, being aware of the symptoms of burnout can help us prevent an actual collapse, like you say, and burning out at the end of the day, and maybe not being able to follow through with our duties or anything that life has to offer us in a way. What would you say are some common factors which would contribute to a burnout?
All right. So to this question, I think I would say the root of burnout is stress. But here I want to clarify that burnout is not the result of stress, but it is the result of mismanaged stress. Because stress is a normal part of our makeup. A mismanaged stress often arises from a period of change where we are pushing ourselves beyond our natural limits for too long. And at times, these changes can be found in, let's say, changes in our environment, changes in our relationship, changes in our health. So these are to name a few. And when we are going through a change in our life, which is placing an overwhelming demand on our mind, on our body, on our spirit, this is what results to distress. So in answer to your question, one way to see where the distress is coming from is to think about the internal and the external pressure in our lives resulting from work, family, among others. There are so many factors. So external pressure, they often arise from the demand of others. At times we can get it from our boss, our colleague, our friends, our family, or even enforcing events. Just like the COVID just came barging and knocking at the door and said, hey, I'm here, right? These could be one of them. But enforcing events do not necessarily need to be one major event. It can be various instances that are happening in our life. It could be something which is placing an overwhelming demand on our psychology, and it's happening over and over and over and over again. This can also be something that is placing some stress on our being. Now, the other thing is about we also have inner pressures, and there are inner pressures which can be coming from our own expectation of ourselves. This is one of the most common ones. You'll see that studies they have shown that people who have high expectations of themselves are especially vulnerable to burnout. And I can talk about personal experience because I am definitely a very hardcore perfectionist, and I've had various episodes of burnout as well. So that is why I wanted to share this with you, is that it's okay. You can have burnout. You don't need to feel afraid, you don't need to feel ashamed. It's not that you're weak, it's just that you need to spend better care and time with yourself when you're going through these burnouts. Okay, so here, that is why I believe very much strongly that stress management has an important role to play when it comes to factors contributing to both the burnout and the burnout.
Okay. Those were really comforting words, to be able to know that other people are experiencing it as well, and to also know that it's okay for us to feel that way. And it could be a result of life expectations and all of that. But do you think there are ways we can prevent or avoid ourselves going towards a brownout or a burnout?
Okay, so instead of trying to find ways to avoid it, in my humble opinion, I believe it is better to find ways on how to manage our stress level so that we can reduce the tendencies of manifesting brownout symptoms, which can then lead to the burnout. So, as an answer, I would say goal setting is important, self assessment of our priorities, self reflection under the umbrella of stress management, and holistic wellness. They are fundamentals to building a healthy routine or lifestyle toward optimum balance. Now, and when we experience a brownout or a burnout phase, it will become easier to handle and recover from it with a positive and resilient mind.
Mhm. Okay. And if you were to give us some tips on, how do we handle that burnout when it's there?
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a personal thing that I do. Um, let's say since when I was 13 or so, I had my first tarot deck, and this led me to explore about the different ways that different decks, there are oracle decks, there are also affirmation decks. And I have a specific deck where it provides me with some kind of affirmation. And whenever I feel that maybe I am starting to get some signs of brownout and I need to do my yoga, I need to get to my meditation, I have one card which comes all the time. It says, stop, drop, and ground. So this is what I would say. How can I handle the burnout? Stop, drop, and ground. Okay. So what do I mean by stop and drop? It is when we give ourselves permission to stop doing and to start being. So every time, this is something that I can ask our listeners, try to find that specific word or that sentence. When you look at it all the time, you feel like, okay, I'll just stop right now and I'll just focus on myself. I'll stop to give all of my energy outside. I'll just take that energy in for the moment and get myself grounded, and then I will resume. So for me, what works is stop, drop, and ground. Okay. So in other words, it's all about taking a pause from or cutting down as much as possible what we're doing that is enhancing the signs of the burnout and allowing the body to heal in the stillness of the moment. And this can take from 30 seconds to 1 minute. Just try to put on your mobile like how long 30 seconds can be, and you'll realize how much of a time it is. And when I realized the wisdom of time is when I was at school, and I was in the food studies. My subjects were food studies, and whenever we'd have to make dishes, I would realize 30 seconds is a lot of time. When we needed to clean our table, we had to get our dishes ready, we had to get the decoration ready. Like when they told us, you have said 30 seconds, I'm like, we have a lot of time. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you that if you have 30 seconds every day, every hour, or every 30 minutes to take a breath, to walk out of your room, to go and have water and come back, you're doing a lot to yourself more than you ever realize. And this is one of the fundamental towards recovery. Whatever it is, whatever phase you are, you could be out crying, you're not feeling well, you're stressed out, even outside, you're inside your room. If you're feeling, oh, I'm going to lose my means, give yourself 30 seconds. You just go outside, you say, okay, I'm good, I can handle this, and then coming in, it's going to make a real difference. Okay, so we need not worry, right? If recovery seems to take a long time when we're talking about burnout, because a burnout may have built up over a good number of years, okay, possibly one's entire working career. I've I've got to see people who have not realized that it was so many years they've been having this, but they were like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, have got them into the state of burnout, they're like, it's not okay anymore. So this is where I would be telling you all listening to us right now, it's okay not to be okay. Okay. So that's why we need space, even to do nothing at all and to take it easy. Okay. We must not be unafraid of doing nothing and chilling out. We should instead look at it as a period of relaxation, nourishment, and self-care. Now, the difference between handling a burnout and handling a brownout is that in the former, we need to stop in order to heal because we are unable to perform. While in the latter, that is a brownout, this is a completely different story. As here, we are talking about individuals who have not stopped or they cannot stop altogether in order to heal, as it may affect their productivity, it may affect their performance. So that is why here we need to cater for adjustments in order to calm down the brownout symptoms. Let's say, for example, building a daily and healthy practice, for example, or taking one's rightful 1 hour lunch or short tea breaks. Okay, this is an example of how you can make some adjustments or how you can take your breaks. Because this is something that I've seen a lot of people skip. When I was working in the corporate sector, we have been provided with our breaks. We have been provided with our lunch. Why don't we take them? So at times it happened that when we have a lot of work, we are going to shorten our lunches because work is calling for us. But when this becomes a habit of skipping lunch all the time, of not taking our breaks, our tea breaks, it causes imbalances in our body's natural way of being without us realizing. So we're not doing this on purpose. We're just like, we're in the race. We're doing it because everybody's doing it. But your body is not like everybody else. So this is something very important to consider. And the same applies when it comes to taking annual leaves, which are due to us, or even taking proper sick leave if ill. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this is what consistent self-care is all about. Consistency is the key. Okay? And that was an example in order to make you realize of the opportunities of self-care which are already being provided to us at work, but which we tend to forget. Okay? And there are so many other activities that we can include in our daily or weekly schedule to make it more self-care focused. Why? For our inner nourishment, and this will boost our productivity. You have a lot, we should always do with what we have. Okay, we should not try to get engaged into expensive sessions, expensive, I don't know what products. See what you have. With if you think you have nothing, just try to see in this voidness what you can derive out of it to make you feel well. What I used to do when I was a student, did have my playlist, special playlist, listening to music, meeting friends if you want to. If you don't want to, if you're a social wolf like me, that's fine. But you need to have your space for yourself. Okay. Have a hobby which nourishes your soul. For me, it's drawing. When I was at university, I would be drawing. I love details, drawing all the time. And this drawing passion of me shifted on wood. And today I just do poetry on wood just for fun. But I don't put it as a professional thing because I don't want my stress in profession to affect my hobby. So it's good for you to find something which you won't even try to monetize it because it's there just to make you feel well, and your wellness is your greatest wealth. Okay. Now, for those of you who are listening to us right now, if you want something more mindfulness oriented, so for those of you who want to add a mindful touch to this, whatever your chosen activity of self-care is, just be in the moment. Be in the moment, be in the present, be fully in the activity, and you will notice and you will experience a great difference and feeling of surrender and appreciation in what you are doing. Now, as we engage our 5 senses, the present moment, like in the present moment without being distracted, our body, our mind, our spirit, our mental, whatever it is that you resonate with, these components of ourselves will experience a well-deserved rest. And this is what grounding is all about. It's like, when you stop, drop, ground, you stop, okay? You dropped whatever was not helping you, extra baggage, extra restlessness, extra anxiety. And then you're grounding the body because the body is made of earth, the earth element. So it's very important for us to ground this body of blood, flesh, and bones. okay, and reconnecting with your the earth element, grounding it will help us a lot in order to release the extra which is inside. Now, I've had great experiences myself because I don't find it um, great if I were to share something with you with I have not experienced. So everything that I'm sharing with you right now, I've gone through them, I've experienced them through. I've always made adjustments, and I've always listened to what my body was asking for, which I didn't do before. This explains why I had my burnout. Okay, so that is why I'm more mindful. I listen more to what my body has to say, and that's why every day I include mindfulness wherever, when I'm eating, when I'm drinking, whatever it is, right? And it has become easier to work and manage the stress. So I would definitely recommend our listeners to explore these ideas of self-care and find out what talks to them most. Because you're in your shoes. You know best what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You can always listen to recommendations of other people, but at the end of the day, it's you, your body, and your journey.
Definitely, those are wonderful, tips to get started on that journey, as you said. And for me, definitely, I will try out the stop, drop, and ground myself, and be in the present moment and practice mindfulness, so that we don't burn out. And so, if would you say mindfulness is like one way to create that space for yourself when you are experiencing a burnout? And do you think there are other ways as well that you can create that healing space?
So I would say that mindfulness is one of the best approaches among others. You have different ways, but it's very easy for you to adopt it in your current lifestyle without you having to, let's say, get out of your routine completely. You can always infuse some components of it in your current routine, whether it is at work, whether you're at home. This is something that I can share is when I used to be in India, when I was doing my teacher training course, we had a session called Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga, it is a branch of yoga which talks about selfless work. And all of my friends, we were assigned with an exercise. For example, some had got gardening. I got to cleanse the classroom. And let's say that the action was to cleanse the classroom. But when I was fully invested into that, my body was so calm that when the broom was moving around, I also was going with the flow of the broom. So let's say here, if you are in the office, try to find, let's say when you're drinking your tea, one of the ways I would say instead of you just one go, try to sip your tea, okay? Because sipping, this movement, it is related with one of the mouth exercises. In the yogi philosophy, you have a lot of these which help to cool down the body. Sipping helps to cool down the body. I didn't know it before, and these are one of the examples. And another way which I used to do when I worked, I had a big window behind my chair. But now I think when I left where I was working, they were building the new Supreme Court. So the new Supreme Court has completely blocked the view that I had on my window. But when I used to be there, I would just turn around like every 30 minutes and just look at the sky. Okay. If you have a window, please use your windows. Okay. Whatever you can around. Or one thing that I would do is for me to be able to mindful is mindful movement. Every time I would drink my water, and when I get to visit the restroom, I would make sure that I meet my colleagues as I'm going, and I'm taking my time to walk slowly. And I go, I meet at the same time, I get to meet a lot of people. I also get to, get smile at people, and also this uplift my energy, and then I return. But have you realized that this is something that you can do everywhere, but you don't? All right. So this is one of the ways. Mindfulness, I would definitely tell our listeners to explore how can you bring mindfulness. When I cook, it's mindful. It's mindful cooking. Okay. It's just that you're in the moment, you are experiencing, even when you're eating, try to get mindful when you're eating. Okay. So these are the things. The other thing that I would also add among Let's say another way, among others, which I find meaningful but very easy, is to create a safe and healing space through the power of the breath. Breath, you know, breath, we can do that. We often speak of breathing space. And I personally believe that breath awareness is essential, as in the healing world, the breath is life. So tuning in to our breath, it means tuning in to the vital energy of life. Now, under prolonged overstress, we can often get into the habit of breathing too shallowly or swallowing too much of air. And that is why it is important to look at ways to relax our breathing, slow down, and create some space to feel less hemmed in by life. I can guarantee, so maybe in the workshop, those of you who are listening to these, you might be coming to the workshop. I will show you how you're supposed to breathe properly. I will show you that. I will definitely show you that, because we're supposed to breathe from our belly. We're supposed to be doing abdominal breathing every day, but we don't do that. We are so focused on what should be done that we're focusing from here. We are more into the thoracic breathing and we're less into the abdominal breathing. Okay, so this is something that if you're interested, I will definitely show you. But breathing is one of the best ways, okay, for you to be able to create a space for yourself whenever you feel less hemmed or less, you feel less paralyzed in the moment. Maybe something you might have realized is when we have pregnant women, we often breathe. They create more space within themselves. They're able to unwind the muscles which are contracted so that they're able to, okay, we can do this, right? So breath has a lot of power, okay? So something that I would like to mention as well is a recent article that I went through, which was by Bernhard and Gaidi, if I rightly said the name. It's called Burnout, a Personal Journey. And he writes that the process of recovery from burnout is a slow journey that needs time and space. Okay, time and space. These two, we need to remember these. And when we're talking about space, we are talking about giving ourselves physical space, emotional space, and mental space. It's the same when we're talking about safety. Safety is not only about the body. Safety also refers, I want to feel safe emotionally. I want to feel safe financially. I want to feel safe physically as well. So whenever we're talking about the space, don't restrict yourself to only the physical space. You should also refer to your internal space or your inner space. Okay. Now, there are multiple ways on how we can create a space for oneself. But most importantly, it should be a space where we feel safe. This is what matters, because you see at the end of the day, this body is looking for safety. Okay, when you see somebody is getting angry, this person is trying to exert some control. What is this person trying? Is trying to get some kind of feeling safe because the person is feeling threatened. Okay, so you see that safety. We are all looking for safety, right? So why we want to feel safe? Because this is how our body wants to feel like. And when we feel safe, we are at our best and optimum level. And finding a place where we are safe is where we can relax, where we can recharge, and we can rejuvenate. So by bringing the mind into the body, we can create a pleasant environment or a pleasant space, which can help to appease and calm down our five senses. Okay, because you see that these are the ones that get most active. Okay, either we are talking too much, seeing too much, we're not able to, tune it down. So that is why I would encourage you to use your senses to help you calm down. Okay, for example, with the colors, play with the colors when it comes to decoration. Add something different on your table, study table, working space, kitchen, whatever place. When you go there, it reminds you, okay, I feel better now. Some people don't like flowers, if that's allowed. Adding an affirmation calendar. This is what I used to do when I was at work. At my table, every day there is a quote. Okay, but at home I have my decks. Every morning when I wake up, I will get my affirmation deck and see what's the message for me. Okay, so they are based on the purpose of healing, psychology healing. Okay, so adding an affirmation calendar, which contains a daily positive message. Okay, or one thing you can do, if you have a lot of anxiety, at times it can happen that when our sense of smell can be very sensitive at times for those who have a lot of anxiety. So you can work with essential oils, or you can keep something with you that makes you feel well when you're for example outside your interview room. Or sometimes some people, they go for the first date, they get very anxious, so they will try to, okay, they will breathe something, okay, or essential oil would good because it will help you calm down your muscle, and you will be able to be more here than here. Okay, so other thing is, like we have mentioned before, another way to enjoy our space even better is to create a healthy routine to support a more sustainable lifestyle. So in other words, it's like, what's the point of getting nice decoration, nice space, but if you don't have time to use the space, what's the point? Okay, so in this slide, it's very important for you to create a proper routine or even get into a hobby. This will help you take a break. And this is one of the best ways also to reconnect with ourselves and what we love. So the key is to always bring the mind, the body, the emotions in the experience of the present moment in whatever we choose, which makes us relax or happy. This is something that I will never get tired to emphasize again and again and again. We always need to be in the moment because today there are so many distractions, and I think the ones who we like trying to be warriors, we're trying to stand strong, is to avoid getting distracted. That our phone, gossip, any stuff. But when we are able to say no, I am disciplined in here, I will stay focused in what I do. This is the best gift you can give to yourself. So as we keep this in mind, then we create a routine. And as we create a routine, we draw a path towards this is holistic healing and wellness. It's like we have it all within us. We can do it. But if we get the proper direction, get the guidance, we will be able to fly. It's like a lot of us, we don't realize that we have wings unless somebody points out, you know what, you can fly. Like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So the moment you realize this, self-awareness is the greatest form of clarity that you can cause. If for example, if tomorrow, if I were to have a genie coming in front of me, say, what wish would you like? I just want clarity and self-awareness. The rest I'm gonna take care of it, but I just want to see properly because I am accountable of myself, my life, my body, and everything else.
Definitely. So, for me, what resonated is being more mindful, creating an environment where I have cues and reminders to remind me that I need to be in the present moment, and to also develop that routine that will have space, for productivity, but at the same time having that space to let myself breathe and just enjoy whatever is around me, and be again in that present moment. And also maybe to see what's around us, because it's not just work, it's not just studies, it's not just for our students looking for internships or socializing. Even sometimes it's also about creating that relationship with yourself, and also to notice what else is around you in that world we live in. So before we leave, we've mentioned before at the beginning of this episode about your workshop that's coming up at the end of this month, at the end of May 2022. So would you mind telling us a little bit more about a few details on what's the workshop's going to be about and what other tips you're going to give us?
Okay, so definitely in this workshop, we are going to introduce you to the wellness approach to stress management, because I think it's very, very important. It's more to help you build a healthier relationship with stress. Okay, it's to make you realize that stress is not the bad guy. At times we tend to get him like the black sheep. Stress is bad, but stress, if we don't have stress every day, we'll be like a vegetable. Okay, so stress is very important, and stress can become your ally as you walk your path towards success. Okay, if we learn how to befriend stress, we can walk towards whatever it is that we want with calm, confidence, and compassion. So in short, it will be more about introducing you to that, or if you know already, refresh your mind about these. But it's all going to be my perspective, my approach, what I've seen, what I've discovered as a healer, and to bring this in. We're also going to see stress management on various levels. Let's say various the 3 levels of being towards optimum healing, and definitely provide you with practical tips so that you can develop a strong mental attitude, right? A lot of things, a salutogenic approach to healing. And of course, your questions will be most welcome. So do come prepared, whatever it is that you have, because I believe this is the best opportunity that you can get to talk to me. And also, I will also include a few experiences meditation. I will also share with you a few of the practices that I do myself and how you can make a difference in your morning routine and your evening routine as well. So all is going to be about like you come, you also share what is it that's not working with hope that I can also like show you or guide you. But at the end of the day, you need to be mindful that you need to walk your path. Okay, but you are guided. Okay, you're guided. Your guides are there if you believe in them. Um, your life is being protected and guided. You just need to realize that you have it all. All right. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you over there. So do not hesitate. Feel free.
Great. So to all our listeners, do not forget, to check your email, because that's where you'll get all the details on how to join and register for the workshop entitled Befriending Stress by Ms Priyanka Bundhoo. And come join us and enjoy, that experience of learning more about yourself and how to tackle and manage your stress. Any last wise words for us, Priyanka?
Okay, so I would like to remind our listeners to be kind and patient with themselves on their healing journey. Okay, when we find ourselves searching for the light at the end of this never-ending tunnel, we should never forget that we ourselves, we are the light in our life and the life of others. And it is our inner light which is going to show us the way out. So that is why always remember when you're beating yourself black and blue, right, by your own inner critic, at times we are not able to go through things the way that we think it should be. That's why we need to be kind and patient with ourselves. It's almost another way that we'd say is every time we're trying to find a door, if there have been doors which have been closed in our life, and when we find a new door, we rush, and when we open the door, we get a wall. Okay? So that's why always remember that wherever you are, it's meant to be there for a reason, for you to derive the hidden blessing or the hidden lesson found within your current situation. When you have trust in yourself, you have faith in your capabilities and your ability to grow, you will be able to find a way through the wall. Okay? Because it is something that maybe you don't see with your physical eye. Maybe what's in front of you is all what you see. But deep inside, you need to access that inner knowing of yours to see a way through the wall, which actually was really much a door for you. Okay? So don't give up. Listen to yourself and believe in yourself. Believe in you. Believe in you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, for having joined us today and shared so many valuable, context and knowledge, as well as tips with us. Truly appreciative, and we really look forward to the workshop at the end of May. So don't forget again, join us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
That's all for today.